This week, episode 5 was kind of long, so I decided to turn it to 2. You're currently listening to episode 5.1, Technology Today, where me and Hamed will talk about technology. You can listen to the rest of the episode in episode 5.2, Nerds and Anime, which will premiere on February 28th, this Friday, around 1 p.m. Now, let's get back to the regular show.
Yeah. I lay on the scare, you gotta glow. You gotta glow. She had my attention, she gotta know.
I'd like to welcome everyone to another episode of the Let's Get It podcast. I'm your host Zeke, and in this episode, I have my friend Hamed to talk about the current state of technology and some more anime talk. You can follow his Instagram at chef.ahmed and his Facebook at Isia Dumia to see more of his life. I would like to give a content warning for any show language in this episode, and hope you have a nice day and enjoy the show. The first question I'd like to ask is, what would your origin story be?
My origin story? Damn, that's a really good question. Because the reason why that's a hard question for me is like my childhood has been not the best. Mm-hmm. But I would say my origin story would be, I don't know, like somebody who's just been going through life, mm-hmm. Always been told to succeed. If you go to college, if you go to school, everything's going to be laid out in front of you. And that's a damn lie. I was telling you right now, that's the biggest lie I've ever heard.
Who lied to us?
Our parents was just like, yeah, we come to America. People who were born here, immigrants, the story is you come here, do well in school, you're going to do good in life. And it's difficult because at the same time, it's the people that you know, mm-hmm. when you come here, and like networking, making sure that you know the right people who can give you a job offer, who can put you somewhere that's going to give you the best tools for you to succeed. That's where our parents failed to tell us. Yeah. And so I had to learn that the hard way. And I'm just going through life through that difficult stage. But I feel like the more difficult your life is and like things aren't as easy to give, mm-hmm. that's where you get more of a story. Yeah. And so if you do decide to have children, or if you adopt, or you decide whatever you decide to live your life, you have that type of experience to tell people and be like, yo, it's not just what you learn in school. That's probably like 5-10%. It's the people you know. Yeah. And so luckily I had Damali, mm-hmm. director of student life. She hooked me up with a job. And like that was the first step. And I'm like, some people aren't even employed. I had a high school friend. She just told me that she was unemployed for a whole year, mm-hmm. before she found a job, and she was just applying cold on Indeed. And so it's a different story for many people, but my origin story would just be, I'm a struggling student, graduate. I'm looking for work.
Like, hey, right when they hire me,
I need help. That's my story, though. Yeah.
So, what kind of medium would you be? Like a movie, a comic book?
I think a movie, because I feel like movies are like the easiest art form for people to consume. Mm-hmm. And so like you just have to tell an interesting story. And so I love superhero movies. Yeah. And like comic books, you got to read. Some people find that to be too much work. And so movies are just, you sit your ass down, eat some popcorn or eat whatever, and you give like an hour and a half or 2 hours of your time, and then you either like the movie or you don't like the movie. So the only thing that you give to a movie is your time. And so for me, I feel like, because I'm planning on doing skits, so you might see me on YouTube, but I'm planning on doing skits, and like for me, acting and like, it's like playing a different character. Mm-hmm. And so I would love, even for myself, to maybe do a movie of like my hardships. Mm-hmm. And so that's a way to connect to like the young people. And so I know like the internet is all about jokes and memes, but I like the areas where people get a bit serious and talk about like the real stuff. And, everybody could relate to that.
Like Shia LaBeouf has a movie by himself.
Yeah, exactly. And he played his dad. Like that was something that I was like, yo, that's really cool. And it's also a way to like get your creative juices going, And so don't just be about like the data and the math. Even if you can be creative with data and math and like the hard numbers and details and Excel, it's also important for you like maybe enjoy nature. Like do something that isn't really strict on the information that's given.
Yeah.
How about you create that information and you find a way to express it? Yeah.
So Chadwick Boseman was playing your movie?
Yo, exactly. Chadwick Boseman? Yo, he plays mad historic characters, man. So I can be a historic character that he plays. Or like a regular dude that he finally plays. But yeah, Chadwick Boseman, that's a great idea. Yeah.
Shoot your shot.
Definitely.
So, in college years, we both want to do tech. I decided not to do tech after getting a 0 in the midterm. And you decided to do tech, but you still want to do it. So, why tech?
So, tech is because I built my own gaming computer. And so, with the help of Rodolfo, I'm not going to lie, but it was exhilarating. Like, people just think computers are this, like, genius level. I mean, it is genius level, but that's more like the coding and like making the computer actually do things. But you can build your own machine. And that's just putting parts together. And when you can do that, you just feel like another level, like you just transcended. I built something that I can use. And you become attached to that. And so technology is more than just this wave of like different machines and different like, I know machines are way smarter than us, but for us, you have to realize that we created those machines. And so tech is just accelerating us. Probably going to be the next step in human evolution if we find a way to blend technology with the human body. But before then, you just have to have something in technology that you can hold of and be a grabber, because it's not, don't see technology as like another area in life or another industry. Technology is becoming intertwined with daily stuff, daily things that we do. And so the more that we learn about it, the more that we can also secure ourselves, because, these companies, they like to take our information. And so if you know about it, you know how to secure yourself, you know the right questions to ask, and you just know how to put your foot down where, no, I don't want that to happen. It's because that's the main reason why technology companies are taking advantage of us, because we don't know. Yeah. And so I'm not trying to be a fucking chicken. I'm trying to be one of the wolves in the street. And so it's basically that drives my passion. But at the same time, I try to make sure that I'm also doing something creative to, balance things out. Yeah.
So what age did you build your computer?
I built it when I was either 20 or 21, because I built it, I don't know if it was the year of 2017 or the year of 2018, but it was the summer. And so I was like, yo, it's time. I did research. I went to Newegg. Newegg is basically anything with computers, you go there. And you do your research. Like, there are a lot of self-help videos out on YouTube.
YouTube University?
Yeah. Wait, is that an actual thing?
Nah, I know a lot of old people used to.
Yo, because YouTube should be a university. Like, you should get a degree, because there's so many self-help and how to do things. And so for me, it was just going on YouTube, doing my research, and I built it. And I was like, yo, Baruch got pretty difficult, not gonna lie. So I was like, what is another way I can get into technology without dealing with Baruch? And I found the program Empower. And so Empower is more than just an IT program. It's a nonprofit. It helps people get professional as well. And so they also teach you the fundamentals of IT. And if you want to get into cybersecurity, if you want to get to cloud computing, if you want to get into coding, they have classes and it's free. And if you get into like they call it their graduate programs, you have to start with like the fundamentals. They also give you a stipend. And so cybersecurity, I know a lot of people want to get into that, but I personally want to get into like networking, the switches and the routers, how to build a network for a company. And then in the future, I want to get into cloud computing because that's the next wave.
Like cloud gaming?
Cloud gaming, exactly. There's a program called Shadow where people don't even need to build a gaming computer anymore. You just pay a monthly service and you have access to a computer that's probably in like Nigeria or some shit. And you can play games from your computer. You just need really good internet access. Yeah.
Nice. So, with tech, you talk about like companies and like tech, the next evolution. Do you think it'd be like a positive evolution, like an ingestion, or like a negative evolution, like the Terminator?
Oh my God, that is the question I feel like everybody's asking because, of course, technology is just technology. It's going to evolve, but it's the people that control the products is it's going to determine whether it's evil or whether it's good. And so we just have the duties as citizens, as technological citizens. You have to keep an open eye out, open ear out, because I don't know if people are going to remember what was this thing called? Internet neutrality. That was a big thing in the past. I don't know if you remember it. When they were gonna
net neutrality.
Yeah, net neutrality. I said internet, but I put an extra word in there. But net neutrality, that was really important because people were gonna put a price tag on the access of using the internet, and the beauty of the internet is that it's free access. Well, you have to pay. Yeah.
It's like the equalizer.
Yeah, the equalizer. And so people are building their own companies, people have their own voices. And if you put a price tag on that and the services that they use, that's going to restrict a lot of people's businesses and ease of access. Because I can be low income. I can't start an actual business. I don't have a store, but I can start a business from home. And through the internet, I can market myself. And with just paying an Optimum online, a monthly fee, I can start on business, sell my products online, and become a big corporation like that. But that's just an example. And so for technology itself, it's almost like it's the sword that you wield, and whatever you fight for, the good guys or bad guys, it's whatever you're fighting for, and it's whatever you want your ideology to be expressed as. So yeah, it can either be or. You just got to make sure that Facebook is not abusing you, and that you don't become the Terminator.
And so with Facebook in mind, do you think that we went too far with technology in terms of social media, or that we're just now understanding what we have done?
I feel like it's the second point. We just now understand how Facebook took advantage of us. And I don't think people realize this, but any corporation that's offering you something for free is not necessarily free. Just because Facebook is free doesn't mean that they're not taking anything from you. I'm pretty sure everybody knows this. They're using your information and selling that to companies. So that's why you're seeing, I said I needed a gaming mouse, and I see 12 different ads on my fucking phone about gaming mouses.
I'm missing forks.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, why I see forks?
Yes, like the permissions, that's why you have to watch your cellular devices as well. Like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Ex Machina?
I think I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, and so there was a CEO.
Spoiler.
Yeah, there's a CEO that was in the movie who admitted that, it was a fictional movie, but he said that he turned on the world's microphones and cameras without notifying any of our users. And he was like, the people who manufactured the phones had to admit that they were also doing it as well. So that's why he didn't get in trouble. It's because if he got in trouble, he would expose the phone companies and he would have exposed all the other companies that were doing the same thing as well. And so for me, it's just like, you have to watch all the permissions, your locations, which apps have permissions on your microphones and cameras to make sure that you're secured. And the only way you know that you're secured is that you get educated about technology in the first place. And so for me, I feel like it's not us who went too far. I just feel like companies got too greedy. And you know why they get greedy? Because of the money. And so if you put a dollar sign on anything, companies will do their best to abuse that system because all they care about is what their bottom line is. And so they don't care about our safety as like that, because I've heard that Facebook doesn't even encrypt our passwords and our information. They just have it in like a WordPad document. And so with things like that, we just have to make sure that we're minimizing the amount of information that we're putting on these apps. And you're gonna have to start reading the terms and conditions. You know about that. I don't know if you guys are like great coders. I'm actually like thinking maybe of building. There should be an AI that helps you minimize all the information in terms of conditions and give you all of like the key points. Okay, this is what we're going to do with your information. This is what you should be looking out for. These are like the hidden fees. And so if you have that type of software, that can better empower us, because I know people don't like to read.
And there be pages.
There'd be pages of that. But I think it's most likely a tactic used by companies so they make sure that people don't read it in the first place. So if there are any great coders out there, be sure to make me like, I don't know, like you sponsor me. Like, oh, I got this idea from him. You're making an AI that can read terms and conditions, and that's going to better empower us.
Man, I cancel the episode real quick.
Definitely, bro. Yo,
we don't need coders?
Yo, I feel like I got to reach out to them. I know one coder, but she's just starting out.
No matter.
But yeah, man. That's a great question.
And then with that, do you think we should continue forward with it on like social media like that, or we should just cut back, or is it a way to cut back since it's so into our daily lives?
I feel like at this point, a lot of people, it's become like an addiction that we don't even recognize. And so people who are aware of like their technology use. Some people just, go out for a walk, or there's some people turn off their phones and stuff like that. But it's just up to us to realize that we have to know how much time social media is taking from our daily lives. And for me, I know like it's like second nature. Like sometimes I catch myself. I could be working on something or applying for a job. I pick up my phone, unlock it, go to Facebook instantly. It's right there. And like I be swiping, but sometimes I'm catching myself now. And like I'm doing more of that as a habit. And so you just have to realize what you're doing, how much time these devils are taking away from us, and start to like make times for other things. Maybe start drawing. Maybe start doing something creative, or going out and riding a bike. Like
some friends in person.
Yeah, definitely. And I know with our generation, especially like I would say the young millennials and like Generation Z, there's this. We're like a mixture. Some websites say we're like the late millennials, like the babies, or like the latter half. Some say we're like early Generation Z.
Some say we don't have a label.
Yeah, we don't have a label. We're like right in between. So we are the mixture. And so I know like going out and like with the political climate, and maybe you're not where you want to be in life, but like it's you just have to find the little beauties in life, you know. I know like depression is big in our generation, being sad and being not having the energy to do things that are productive. And it's just basically the way the boomers and the way they left our generation to fend for ourselves. Like just the college degree is equivalent to a high school diploma now.
Yeah.
And so it's not.
And no pension.
Yeah, exactly.
401ks, no issue now.
Exactly. And so the way that we live our lives, I know that it's difficult, especially mentally and emotionally. But it's just up to us to like start going to talk therapy, start doing things that can better help ourselves. Because I know it's hard. And like the way they set this up, it's difficult to find a job in the first place. They don't make it easy. And so for us to start living the lives that we want, and social media only representing the positive lives of people, not representing the struggles that people go through, it's difficult. And I feel like social media can also be a good thing because the rise of podcasts, you start seeing people talk about like real things. And so I listen to the Love Hour. I don't know if you know Kevin Stage.
Yeah, Kevin Stage.
Oh my God. I listen to him, his podcast with Doughboy. Yeah, Righteous. You pay the Patreon?
No, I don't have that.
Damn, bro.
I listened to the actual episode.
But yeah, bro, I recommend it. If you have because it's like $5 a month.
Yeah.
So if you have the money, like definitely, there are people who, you know, realize that life is just not about social media and like living your best life. We know that there's mental health is becoming big as well. And like people are just becoming connected, you know. There can be trolls, there can be people who just want to talk about political things all the time, and we just need spaces like this. You're doing a great job. The way I want to start doing my skits is to talk about real life stuff as well. And so eventually probably do a podcast, and we can be brothers in that as well. Yeah, but you definitely started it. You're trailblazing. Like, we're definitely going to look back on, Zeke did it. I can do it too.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely, social media can have its positives and its negatives, like all things. Yeah.
And with that in mind, do you think automation is a good thing to continue? Because I know humans always done that with like automation, like the car engine, and like computers or a form of automation.
Automation, because now we've reached like the next level of automation, and that's artificial intelligence. And so it's a dangerous thing to play with. I mean, the vision that like Elon Musk and like the people who hold these technologies companies, like AI can do a lot of things, especially with Elon Musk and like the way certain architectures, I don't know, architects are planning to build like smart cities as well. It's beautiful. Like the concept of having like fully automated cars where it's like robots, like you can have no traffic because they're basically they're all on the system. But the negative thing is that some people are out there, black hats, people who just want to fuck up the whole system. And the thing is, security will always be the issue with technology. Hacking will always be the villain of like technology in general. And so playing a role in that, but like, let me further Elon Musk. So just imagine a smart city where every car is automated. That means like you can order a car and it comes to you, you can go into it, right? And it just drives at it automatically like 50 miles per hour. But this is like in a city. It knows when to stop, when to go. And most of these cars can like run on a system, and it almost looks like just like light rails, just knowing when to stop, knowing when to go. That means we won't have really a need for sidewalks. Because if we like red line areas, like different areas, we can tell the cars where not to go, when to stop. We can have sidewalks be intertwined with the way the automated cars are going. We can have cities that probably have light up panels, knowing when to go, and that can like be a visual transformation, but also like a safety transformation. And so it's just beautiful, like the way like AI can make our capabilities are. That can reduce our carbon footprint. We can focus on other things. We can build like smart buildings that have solar panels, or that can have bioengineered plants on the top that provide electricity and stuff like that. So AI can definitely initiate like another level of, you know, I would say advancement for human life. And so it's difficult to say that automation is the death of everything. Well, there are some jobs that will disappear with automation, but at the same time, the thing with automation that we have above is creativity and emotion. If people begin to like code that and like to like how to be genuine with emotion and creativity, maybe that's what we have a problem with. But right now, the beauty of being human versus technology is that we have creativity, the way to be creative in that aspect. Even though there are ways, like Zeke just showed me, you can code art now in a way. It's probably like, you can process it. And so that's a dangerous thing, but the beauty is that we can grasp things on a more emotional level.
With that in mind, I remember in my animation class, the professor talked about the famous artist you know, and then he had a startup painting. But then somebody was able to code it in his style.
In his style, and like it can make things in his style. Okay, I mean that's dangerous, but like in a way, it's just we have to figure out a way to like work with AI, or like we have to determine that with our advancement in society, either we become the creators of AI and like basically automate everything, or we create like a law for technology in a way that we don't influence we don't make emotion and creativity automated, because then what stops AI from controlling us? And so I'm pretty sure like there's a law of robotics or a law of technology that we have to follow. So that
the 3 laws of robots.
Something like that. And so with that in mind, it's just what we choose to do that can really determine our future.
Awesome.
I mean, that's just my perspective, man.
And these are questions we have to answer. We're next.
Exactly. We're next. We're like, I feel like, because technology is just...
That's great to be born now.
And people want to have children. Like, what the hell are they going to do? Like, what, swim, bro? Like, I don't even know. Like, I'm pretty nervous about, like, if we decide to have kids, what their lives would look like. And it's looking, I don't know, man. Things have to change.
It's murky. It's like it's an in between. Like it could go either way.
Definitely.
And we don't know which one.
We don't.
It's like it's 50-50 right now.
50-50.
And this ain't good odds.
I don't think we're in good odds at all, but it's up to us to like lead the charge.
It's funny how like people start now making like the idea that Mars had water on it because we was there first, and then we messed it up, and then we sent Adam and Eve, and then they killed the dinosaurs, and then they
Wait, who thought of this?
I don't know. I've seen like on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah, that's a whole conspiracy.
Like
damn. So what? Adam and Eve were actually astronauts?
Yeah.
Damn, bro. I'm actually gonna look that up after. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's something new. People thinking about like why we was on Mars and everything, because we was there first and then we just messed it up.
But wouldn't there be like other things that are in Mars? Like signs of life, maybe like somebody left like a comic book laying around and never decayed. But just water though?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'll see.
know.
I don't know. But I'll see. That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with the automation right now, so there's a lot of creative boom right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that probably like in history was like another renaissance because
Yeah.
of the rise of podcasts and everything. Everybody's like, I want to curate.
Yeah. With that, I see that there is a creative boom, but I think with podcasts it's just
Evolution.
an evolution in where that people are getting their voices out and they're realizing that there's an audience for that.
Yeah.
And so with podcasts, it's just another way. It's almost like talk therapy. Instead of listening to music, some people just like listening to other people's talk. Sometimes that's a part of my morning routine. Like I can have Righteous and Ratchet in the background just cracking jokes or talking about stuff that are happening in the internet and like talking about their lives, and maybe they're promoting something that opens my eyes. And so for me, like podcasts play more on my phone than music at most point. And in a way, it's almost like connecting with people without really being there. Because I know having to go out, especially for us introverts, that takes energy as well. But since podcasts are more like a one-sided conversation and you're like an audience, you can basically decide whether or not you relate to it. You can, if it's on YouTube, you can leave a comment and stuff like that. But with things like that, I feel like it's important for us to have not just music, but also people just talking about life in general. I feel like that's also important, and people are realizing, people really like listening to us. And so, like people should just see that as a way of creation. And I also see that since not a lot of people are talented, it doesn't take a lot of talent to be a great podcaster. You just have to talk about something interesting and be energetic. And so you're good though. You're good. You just have to ask. Sometimes it's good questions as well. And so the more people see that and witness that, it provides a way of like power to the people. And so the more people feel empowered to do things, the more they get themselves try something new.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
I just pressed the button. Let me just recording. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I was like, I was like, oh no.
You gotta make sure, man. I'm just talking to a black screen over there. Is definitely a thing where I see people are deciding now that they should start owning things, with like Tyler Perry and his studio that he just built, like people starting to own things in their own because they realize that there's power in that. And I feel like the more people become smart and aware of that ownership is key, they have the power to negotiate. Like, say, for instance, if you make a show on your own, that reduces the risk on their show. It's like, oh, we can just franchise this and just pay them and then show the show on our channel. And so there's different things like that that's really important. And I feel like since people are now empowered to create, and it's a way to make money, it's definitely going to see a lot of content.
Renaissance 2.0.
Yeah, Renaissance 2.0. I feel like it's the whole world this time instead of just Italy and all the European countries. It's just the whole world, and it's powerful. Like people can start making their own documentaries, maybe exposing light on things that we've never seen before. And so I feel like it's another way to connect people.
So with that, what kind of misconceptions about technology do people have?
One great misconception that I see is that technology will be the death of everybody. And that people just think technology is here to just take jobs and people are here to take advantage of us. But I feel like it's with the quote, like, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. No, the rich get richer and the poor make them richer. We allow ourselves to become taken advantage of. And the more that we learn about technology and the more that we empower ourselves to learn about what these companies are doing to take advantage of us, that's when we can decide to step up and say, no, let me not support this company anymore. Let me create my own type of social media. I don't know if this was known, but are you familiar with Jeffrey Almonte?
Yeah.
Before, this was like a while back, I think 2 or 3 years ago, he was actually promoting a social media platform that was like Facebook. But the catch is that for your information, they actually paid you. And so it was almost like a company that had its employees have stake in it. And so I don't know what happened. I have to do my research. I forgot the name of this social media platform, but he was promoting it. I don't think it really lifted off either because some people probably was just too accustomed to like Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. And so the business plan was like, the more people you invite, the more of a bigger payout you had. And so that was a way to like get people into it and stuff like that. So it was almost like a pyramid scheme, yeah. Because I think that's what made it people not believe in it too much. And so with things like that, I'm pretty sure you just have to appeal to the younger generation when it comes to things, because we're so impressionable. We're so fascinated with like new apps and new things that make our lives either more important or make our lives easier in a way. And so with the rise of Snapchat, if there was a social media platform that can, benefit the people instead of taking advantage of that, that could probably become as popular. But people don't know enough to know that they probably need something like that. Yeah. And they just want something that's free and something that's not too complicated. And so that's one misconception I see that is really important, and people have to start quickly changing their minds, because the more they believe that way, the more they're going to push themselves back and they're not going to grow. And the people that realize that are going to grow and leave them in the dust. So I'm telling you this now, you got to step up.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, in the early stages of half of tech, right? So you said how it's hard and stuff like that, right? How you feel about, what's your next steps in tech, actually?
My next step in tech. My next tech is step. Wow. It's actually, it's one thing to learn about technology, but it's another thing to be a continuous student, because technology will always evolve, and it's important to know that you are making sure that you stay on top of the news. Make sure that viruses, they're always evolving as well. There's viruses that people research all the malware, because viruses are blocked because the malware software knows that, okay, this is a virus, I have to stop it. But viruses are always being made. And so if there's not a virus in a file of like Nordis antivirus or Kaspersky or McAfee, if that software doesn't know the coding of the virus, it can let it pass. It can be invisible. And so there's viruses that are continuously evolving. And so with that in mind, technology has to continue to evolve. And with that in mind as well, security has to continue to evolve. And with that evolution process, if you don't take the step to do your research and to be like, okay, maybe I don't see IT in my near future, but I do see it as an important thing. Definitely take your time to research. Join programs that are free that basically teach you about the different things that technology is about, because you are using technology. You are a stakeholder in the world that we live in now. And so the fact that you use it and you don't know about it, that is something that can be taken advantage of, and people can take advantage of that. And next thing you know, you're being sold for $100 on the dark web. And so it's more of like, we have to step up, because these companies are continue going to push forward. They're continue going to do what they need to do in order to meet their bottom line. People who want to destroy people's lives online, they're continuing to do it because they're probably being paid to do that. And so not a lot of people are looking out for us, and so we have to take that step to look out.
And there seems like a similarity between like bio and how like the body has to keep evolving
Exactly.
to fight off diseases and bacteria,
Definitely.
and then how technology, you have to keep evolving to fight off the viruses.
Definitely. If you see technology as a person, that person is just evolves on a quicker space than us. But technology is same thing as a human being. It needs to be protected. It has like a lot of vulnerabilities that can be exploited. So as the human body, it can be destroyed really quickly if somebody knows the right thing to do, or like if you went into your phone and you deleted all the coding that's in it, you just made your phone die, and you can never fix that back. You probably have to buy a new one. And so like human beings, we need to be protected. We need to go to the doctor to make sure that we're good. And so these devices relate to us in so much, but we have classes in school that teach us about the human body, but not a lot of classes that teach us about technology and how to use it and how to protect yourself. And so it's time for everybody to step up. We have to make technology a part of the curriculum. But because it's a new idea and a brand new, I would say, component to human life, I would say a lot of people don't really believe in it as a practice or as like a way to be taught. And so it's just, we have to change that mindset.
That brings episode 5.1 to a close. You can listen to episode 5.2, Nerds and Anime, this Friday, February 28th, around 1 p.m. I hope you continue to have a nice day, and I hope to see you there.